Yo, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children over the age of 18. Welcome to the 25th episode of the Smacktalk Wrestling Podcast, the Summerslam Fallout episode. I'm here joined once again with my amazing co-host. We got the king of the Twitch gaming, AOK Gaming, Angel. How you doing tonight, bro?
OTC, he's back, baby.
OTC, he is back. Acknowledge our tribal chief. Gonzo. We are here with my boy Gonzo. He is the king of the Yugis, the king of the wrestling trolls. What's going on, my guy?
I like the new title you gave me. Yeah, I'm slightly coming out of retirement, so
I got to put you over. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do.
There's been an itch possibly to do real life games again. So who knows?
I don't know about all that. It's too much money for me, but I'm good with some Master Duels. Yeah, you can catch him on the Twitch, guys. Master Duels, the king himself. All right. Derek, the guy is in here. We here cannot wait to hear AOK roast the Timu tribal chief. There we go. All right, guys. If you guys don't know, if you're a first-time viewer, this is a WWE podcast / live stream. We go live every Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you don't like watching three guys talk about wrestling in their houses or basements, you could always listen on Spotify the Thursday following the Wednesdays we go live. But yeah, sometimes we would talk about the PLEs, or we'll try to go live for the PLEs, but PLEs are usually on weekends, so it's kind of hard to go there. But anyway, we have a stacked show for you guys. So, esteemed co-hosts, what do you want to talk about? Yeah, you like that? You like that? Yeah, there we go. All right, yes. So here we go. We all know what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the new women's faction wars, right? So we want to talk about? No, we want to talk about Odyssey Jones replacing Big E in the New Day. That's what we want to talk about, right?
Odyssey Jones. What a name.
All right. No, we don't want to talk about. We're gonna be talking about SummerSlam. We're gonna be talking about Great American Bash Night 2. We're gonna talk Judgment Day, Fallout, Gunther, Wyatt, the Bloodline, and of course, guess the wrestler. So hopefully these guys can redeem themselves from not guessing arguably the greatest wrestler in WWE history in The Undertaker from last week. But here we go. Let's just get right into it. We got a SummerSlam recap. We got a lot of things going on SummerSlam. We all watched it together, which was pretty cool. It's very rare we all get in the same room and actually watch some wrestling like we're 12 years old again. So, Gonzo, thanks for hosting. Very fun time. But like I said, SummerSlam recap. So WWE debuts a referee cam, which we'll talk about slightly, which was pretty dope. We had 4 champions crowned on SummerSlam, which is kind of unheard of. They don't really do that anymore. But going right into it, we had Liv Morgan retain the World Heavyweight Championship thanks to Dom. So, guys, I think we all knew that was pretty much going to happen. I mean, this was a very predictable show, but a very fun show nonetheless. But what are your thoughts on Dom siding with Liv? Angel, let's take it on that one.
I mean, we all kind of saw it a little bit coming because the New Day just was always in this dramatic back and forth. And
the New Day,
I guess
the New Day?
Bootios? Bootios?
We were talking about the New Day earlier. Now I'm thinking about the New Day. I don't know why. Judgment Day. There's too many day groups, bro. Judgment Day. I know Dom told Liv that he hates her, but we could see it coming a little bit, and it was time, right? So it sucks for Rhea, but now she's gonna go team up with Jay, and I don't know what else is gonna happen. I guess Damian too, but I don't know. I love it. I love Liv being this just cog, this key to everything that's happening on Raw and on Judgment Day. She's just
it's Monday Night Judgment Day, man. It's Monday Night Judgment Day.
She's making everything happen there. She's literally taking everything from Rhea and Damian at this point. And if you look back at the history of who is in this new Judgment Day that has been created, like you said, Mark, the new Judgment Day, they've all been screwed over by these two giant monster talent athletes, Rhea and Damian, all of them. And we could go through each one if you want to, but we know what's happened to them in the past, and now they've gotten their revenge, and they seem to be the ones on top right now. I know Damian and Rhea had their little moment for Raw together, but the Judgment Day is on top still, so it's pretty cool though.
Gonzo, thoughts on the match?
Storytelling at its finest. You've got Dom that takes the chair away from Rhea as she's about to go and smash Liv to pieces with it, and he says you can't win the championship this way, because there was a split second where you could see Rhea's face where she was pissed at him, but then again, logic and the ability to reset her. And there were some pretty cool moments. I don't know, again, if her shoulder truly popped out of place where she started just, again, attempting to pop it back in. But then Liv was also working her shoulder. So storytelling, you figured this is what been already a year and a half in the making. Ring psychology, what works, what doesn't work. And finally, I had been saying for a while that, of course, Liv and Dom were going to be doing something. And here we go. Dom ends up sliding the chair in a perfect spot, distracts the ref, and then 2 seconds later, the match ends. I was eager to see how the match was going to end, and I was quite entertained with it, so I'm all for it. That kiss, though, I don't know how Dom was able to just fly that by his actual real-life wife.
They kissed again on Raw, and he was kissing her on the face, and she was kissing him on the face on Raw again the next or 2 nights later. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't
The check's gotta be
understand.
huge right now.
There's got to be a lot of zeros, or maybe the wife just went blind because the first time the kissing and the chicky tenders was too much for her. It's kind of like that old episode from King of the Hill where Hank goes blind after he sees something horrific with his parents. So, man.
But that's tenders, though, that was cool.
It is. We don't know, but we'll get more into the Judgment Day later. But for me, I thought the match was perfect. Storytelling at its finest, long-term storytelling. It all came to fold. Gonzo did mention that, you know, we all knew that he was working with Liv, but he didn't predict that was going to happen on SummerSlam. That was me. So I just want to throw that in there. But going on, Braun Breaker was the Intercontinental Championship.
Wait, hold on. We all got that prediction right, no?
Yeah, but not how it was going to happen.
Right. But we all said Liv was going to
win, right? Yeah, we'll recap that in a second. Braun Breaker wins the Intercontinental Championship. Honestly, I thought that was the worst match of the night. It was still kind of enjoyable. But Braun Breaker winning the Intercontinental Championship is 100% the right call. Not really much else for me to say it there, unless you guys want to add anything on that one. I think we're kind of all in agreement that night.
We're glad it happened.
Exactly.
Keep it going.
Yeah. All right. Oh, what? You were going to say something?
Just a comment. I said that was my least favorite match of the night was Braun versus Sammy.
Yeah, for sure. LA Knight finally gets a championship in WWE as he wins the United States Championship over Logan Paul in probably my favorite match of the night, to be honest, as far as an actual in-ring just wrestling match, not with any other things going on. No bloodline rules, no chair shots, no interference. I thought it was a very entertaining match, and it's just a shame that Logan Paul is part-time, otherwise he'd probably still be holding the belt. Even though LA Knight finally got his championship, you know who has not finally bought merch? Gonzo. Well, how'd you like that match of your favorite wrestler in WWE right now, Gonz?
Well, I've contributed myself to drinking more and more Prime, so Logan Paul and his marketing campaign is effective with doing that. And so that springboard 360 off the rope was insane because I literally thought Logan Paul blew out his knee when he landed it. So the rest of that match was fantastic. He's a natural. The more and more he puts into the ring, it's very hard to dispute that he's not meant for this business. And it's going to be interesting to see how long he disappears now and when he decides to reappear. As far as Mr. LA Knight, he put on one hell of a match performance, both men did. And so it's definitely up there for match of the night. For me, that wasn't the match of the night, but I'll give my feedback on what I thought a little bit later on what I thought my match of the night was. But I was overall thoroughly impressed with it.
Angel, any thoughts on this match at all?
Gonzo pretty much hit it on the head, but I mean, LA Knight deserved the win. Long time coming. Can't believe that's his first title in WWE. Talked about that a little bit, but well deserved. I think he's one of the top talents in the whole company. Any show, any talent. So I'm glad he won. Glad he's able to finally show something off here for the work he's put in the past few years, and his road to this point. And I think he's got a long career ahead of him, even though I know he's a little bit older, but still think he's one of the best that you could watch on television. As far as Logan, in ring, he's incredible. The moves he practices and the spots he takes, I don't think anyone really would argue with what he is capable of doing and what he does do when he performs. That might be why he doesn't really go out there and perform too often because of the stunts he tries to take on, and his spots are so extra and extreme, whatever you want to call it. He might not be able to perform that way like on a weekly or every other weekly basis. So I know he has this other stuff going on. He's social media superstar, but when he is here, it's great. He's probably going to leave for a little bit. Triple H did mention in the post show, interviews that Logan seemed like he was really committed to this and that he really wants to go all in as far as being talent on WWE. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means like on a later point he's going to take it more, like not serious, but more of a committed role to it. But Triple H kind of gave that little bit of insight about what the future holds for Logan. So he's probably gonna take a break, like Gonzo said. But it was a great match, and yeah, I hope he comes back and we can see him do some more work with other talent too. So,
Yeah, for sure. So we see you guys' comments. We're not ignoring them. Pedro Rivera says Logan Paul's actually a pretty good entertainer. He's definitely won me over. I want to see more of him. Derek the guy says drink prime. He also says Dom is my hero. Yeah, Dom is everyone's hero because apparently he can just do whatever he wants. But yeah, going on right now, Nia Jax wins the women's championship with a mid-match Tiffy cash-in attempt. Nothing really there. We kind of predicted that one to a T. I mean, it was time for Nia Jax. I think we all picked that one as well. It was a decent match. Nothing to write home about again. I think though this one and Braun Breaker's match to me were the least of my favorite. Still solid, very entertaining show. Do you guys have anything you want to add to this at all?
Absolutely. I need my Tiffany Stratton briefcase, my Tiffy Chew or
Her
whatever
purse?
type
Your
of
purse,
Her purse.
Tiffy Chew.
your purse.
Jimmy Choo for all my wonderful individuals that know designer purses. I'm just going to dub it as the Tiffy Chew. And so that's what I need in my life because I could not see her just walk around with that rag duct tape. It's terrible what Bailey did to that beautiful, beautiful briefcase. And now we have the Tiffy Chew. So it's wonderful. Stay tuned for more to come.
Go ahead,
So
$300 on WWE Shop. Go ahead.
So you're just not going to even mention Nia at all. You're not going to be happy for her.
He's a fake fan. He's a
No,
fake
no, no,
fan.
no, no, no.
He's a fake fan.
I am waiting
Yeah,
for
no,
AOK
it's no.
Gaming
You said what you had to say. You had
to
an opportunity.
lay
You
the
just cared about
groundwork.
Tiffy.
Talk about my girl some more. Queen
I
Nia.
love Tiffy, but the match was not Tiffy. She just showed up and interfered for 5 seconds.
I like it.
Nia Jax won this match. Let's not spend too much time on this. We got a lot to talk about.
I love it.
So, Angel, do you have
Gaming
anything?
gives the flowers. That's what I like
congrats
to hear
Nia.
tonight.
She's gonna have a great run, I feel.
Nia Jax needs to join Damian and AEW. Get him out of here. Wow.
Oh my god.
The hate is real tonight. All right, moving on. Drew McIntyre defeats CM Punk with special referee Seth Rollins playing a major factor in this decision, as we all thought it was going to happen. Don't go into Raw. We're going to discuss it later on. But the match I thought was very fun, very personal. You could see it. It got very personal for CM Punk. CM Punk's matches never really seem to get personal. He's just straight down to business. But for some reason, this bracelet really has a hold on him. Things got personal with him and Seth Rollins with their 20-year feud. Fantastic match. I thought it was just very well put together. You guys have any thoughts on this match?
Jacob Fatu was sacrificed to ensure that CM Punk was not injured to make it through another night. Someone had to be sacrificed for the old man to get through it. And it was a smart decision to have this basically be a false count, no disqualification match. You figure Punk has been sidelined for almost, 8 months, 9 months, right? With this injury. And of course, I'm sure he's doing his cardio and doing everything else.
5 months.
So, but as far as like wrestling outside of the Royal Rumble, when was the last time he did it? So there's a long time here, and you can we talked about this when we were sitting there. I'm going to pop you with this chair, and then you're just going to lay there for 5 minutes to recuperate. And so pacing wise, interference, looking the opposite way, the bracelet, taking your emotions, it was all about pacing. And I think, Mark, to answer your question, Punk is usually all about business. I don't believe that he was in good enough shape to be all business like we've come accustomed to. So being able to tell more story this time through, and he is, again, berated various people with having them lose their focus, and yet Punk was the one that was undisciplined throughout this entire match for the most part. So you have a lot to play off of this. Pacing wise, I thought it was very appropriate for someone who hasn't been in the ring in quite some time. And so the fact that Rollins got GTS'd and smashed around left and right, and the facial expressions, it was a masterclass put on by all three men. And I think probably one of the funniest things, I seen a WWE released the Seth cam. He was ending up like tying his shoe at one point, talking shit to Punk. It was actually really entertaining. But as we seen as the match went on, he ended up ripping the camera and the little battery pack off of him and like threw it off to the side just because it kept getting in the way. It's a very intriguing concept for sure, but ultimately it still needs some tinkering.
Yeah, I agree. Angel, do you have anything you want to add, or?
No, it was cool. It was a cool match. We had a lot of fun watching it. We're a little biased because we love these talents so much. I will say it was like a preseason match for me, though. Obviously, like an introductory for Punk to get back into primetime wrestling matches. Like you said, the spots were slow and steady, and to make sure that he was able to perform the way that he needed to, and everything else. And yeah, but it was fun, and I'm excited for them to keep going. And yeah, we're gonna need this little love triangle of these three talents to keep going and see some, I don't know, triple threats or taking turns beating the hell out of each other on their way back to trying to get that belt from Gunther, right? That's the next step after that, each other. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we will.
Punk is able to fight a lot more.
All right. Moving on. Gunther wins his World Heavyweight Championship thanks to Finn turning on Damian Priest. Judgment Day just fully imploding here tonight. I thought it was a great match. I don't care what Derek the Guy says. Damian Priest can bring it. Don't care what Gonzo says. Once again, Damian Priest can bring it. Great match overall. Do you guys have anything you guys want to add on this?
It was my match of the night.
Okay, look at you. Give my boy his flowers.
I mean, Gunther's got the belt. I don't think he needs flowers.
Yeah, because that's what put people over. Angel, do you have anything else you want to say?
It was great. Once Finn came out, we already knew what was going to happen there. He came out without being, expressly being told not to. And, him going into his demon mode, we've just been waiting for it. I've been talking about it for since the show began with us three, that Finn needs to, break off and get his ball rolling and get back into that main event stage. And he's doing it now. I'm glad that Gunther got the win. I'm glad Howie got the win. He's going to be a great champ. We'll see how long he goes. And Damian's got a lot of stories to fill up here. So it's a lot of cool things happening off of this match. And it was a great match itself, too.
For sure. Agreed. Derek the Guy, with the comments, we appreciate all your guys' engagement. But Derek the Guy here, honestly, Damian kind of won me over in the match. I think better than I've ever seen him. He always looks good. You just haven't been watching. Open the minds. That's with love. That's with love. All right. Cody Rhodes retains the undisputed championship. In that match, we unfortunately seen Jacob Fatu hurts. And the Avengers once again aligned for Cody with a new Avenger, and that is the return of the rightful tribal chief, Roman effin Reigns. Acknowledge him, everybody. There he is, original tribal chief.
He's not an Avenger. It's more like Doctor Doom coming out.
It's a new Avenger. All right. So we will get more on Roman Reigns tonight. I want to keep the show rolling. There's a lot that we all need to say about Roman Reigns, but he is back. Everyone's ecstatic. The match overall for me was great. I knew that we had as soon as they said Bloodline rules on SmackDown, I knew that this was all going to happen. It's just unfortunate for me, in my opinion, it's just my opinion only, that it had to result to another Bloodline rules match. But I understand why it needed to happen. But I thought the match was great again. Do you guys have anything you want to add about the match itself and not Bloodline moving forward? Not Bloodline moving forward. We'll talk about that later. Just the match itself.
Solo looked phenomenal.
Thank you.
Whether or not Angel wants to admit that or not, but that was a solid match before all the ridiculousness had gotten to its pinnacle.
I don't know if I said he can't wrestle. I never said he couldn't wrestle.
He's just not your tribal chief.
He did great. He had counters to Cody's moves. It looked cool. Him and Cody seemed like they had some decent chemistry for not really ever having angled besides getting their ass kicked, getting jumped on each other. But that was cool. It was cool to see. Yeah, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. Jacob got hurt, unfortunately. That was a good spot, but that's the risk he took. Hopefully he's okay, and we can
better be okay.
Keep on rolling.
Exactly. All right. So overall grade SummerSlam. What do you guys think?
B plus A minus range. It was pretty cool to see so many titles change over. The revelations and the betrayals were really cool. The people that needed to win did, and I think it's a big change in era of WWE right now.
Agreed. Great comment. Great comment.
Became. So we'll talk about that next, I'm sure.
I agree. I give it a B as well. Gonzo?
B plus.
Okay, B plus. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to keep talking about the SummerSlam fallout, but for right now, we're going to go into NXT. Just a quick recap. We had the Great American Bash Night 2 last night. I'm going to say the winners real quick. So we had Pete Dunne shockingly beat Trick Williams. That's a big head scratcher for me. Kehlani Jordan, I can't speak, retains the women's NXT North American Championship. Ethan Page retained the NXT Championship in a mid-card match. Crazy. Joe Hendry beat Joe Coffey. Had a lot of great spots in this match.
He's the GOAT.
I thought that was such a great match. Great
that
crowd
opening,
pleaser.
Right when he did his thing and jumped outside the ring, that was the best shit I've ever seen.
Yeah. No. You know what that reminds me of? You guys are gonna laugh. You guys are gonna laugh at me. Do you remember when we were all into Power Rangers and Goldar was big?
Green Ranger energy.
And they were all assembling the Megazord, and Goldar was like, nah, and he just stops it from happening. That to me, that's what I felt like. Like he was like, "Oh, you fuckers are out here. Nah, I'm gonna jump over this rope real quick."
And then the spot with the chair to get him kicked out, dude, Cerebral Assassin. That's the epitome of it right there. Is Joe Hendry?
I mean,
Cerebral Assassin.
When we were into Power Rangers, I never stopped. So it's funny.
I'm sorry. Who put you on that? Who put you on that? All right, going on. Ren Sinclair beats Kendall Gray, so now Sinclair is now part of the No Quarter Catch crew, and Dempsey gets a shot at the Heritage Cup next week. And lastly, the main event, once again, head scratcher. We had Axiom and Frazier retain the tag team championships against MSK, and we've seen Wesley turn heel on the Rascals. Guys, overall thoughts of NXT Great American Bash Night 2. Angel, go first.
Joe Hendry. I can't believe this dude. I cannot believe this dude is this good at everything he does. It's unbelievable. In the ring, it's like nonstop entertainment. Outside of the ring, it's nonstop entertainment. I could watch his videos all day long, all his social media, all his matches, his entrances, his behind the scenes, everything, his song, the crowd engagement. It's so entertaining. I cannot believe this guy. TNA is screwed. I feel so bad for TNA. I don't know. I'll just talk about Pete Dunne. That was kind of crazy. Your girl Paxley Gonzo actually wrestled really well in that match.
Cheated.
I was impressed.
She got cheated.
She did. Ethan Page, it was a cool match, I guess. It wasn't anything too exciting. There were some cool spots, but nothing crazy. And then Kendall Gray Sinclair, that was cool. I guess the Heritage Cup was the bigger story in that. And then the final match, the main event was fun. I mean, those guys always do great spots. And then the Wesley turn was, I guess, interesting. That's why they made it the main event. But it should have been the NXT title match. So.
Yeah, you pretty much hit it on the nose. For me, I'm a firm believer that whatever championship is being defended, no matter what it is, tag team championship, mid-card belts, whatever championship is on the line should be the main event. And if it's multiple championships, especially your heavyweight championship, that should be the main event. That's just me. Always a firm believer. If your tag team titles are on the line, that's the only title that's on the line that night, they should be your main event because that's what everyone works for. That's just me. Should the tag team championship been on the main event for the NXT show? No. Probably should have opened the show, in my opinion, because we had a NXT heavyweight championship. And it's not like Oro Mensah and Ethan Page did not have a story to be told because Oro has been on site. That's why they call him on-site Oro. On site, he sees Ethan Page. He's fighting him because Ethan Page was jumping people before he made his official debut. So that's just crazy to me. Trick Williams has to have the worst dissension I've ever seen with the worst NXT run, losing to Pete Dunne, who's pulling double duty. Not even Michin be getting wins on every show, but Pete Dunne comes.
Triple duty for Pete Dunne.
Oh yeah, triple duty. You can't forget about the what, Angel?
Behind the scenes creative.
The speed division. Division. So that's just crazy to me. Joe Hendry, say his name and he appears.
He's a goat.
It's just he is a goat. Say his name and he appears. It's just crazy to me. But I did look up something today. His contract is nowhere near expiring from TNA. So while yes, they have worked some crazy deal where he could train with Natalia at the center, he's not leaving TNA. So eventually they will take him. There's no doubt in my mind. But for right now, he's staying put. Other than that, I said my piece. Gonzo, do you have, for now, 100%. Gonzo, do you have any thoughts on Great American Bash Night 2?
The fact that Trick Williams opened up against Pete Dunne and lost. I said we're just going to keep descending and basically just disappear. Maybe we're going to find him on TNA here pretty soon. We're going to do a trade, young talent versus Joe Hendry. So yeah. I mean, right? We have a person that's losing its stock, but he has a very high potential ceiling still. The Paxley match, again, my girl can go. I'm glad that you all can see that because, again, Kalani Jordan, she can go as well. Probably the most interesting thing to me, again, is Joe Hendry, but Angela has already said all of these things.
Say his name and he appears.
Sorry.
The crowding
to take it all, but he's just
hey, I mean, the crowd engagement, the entertainment is great. I mean, all ego, Mr. Page. I mean, there was a lot of cool stuff there, but it's just the NXT title took a back seat. Trick Williams continues to descend into nowhere. And then as far as the main event, the tag championship is actually more relevant than your actual world title or NXT championship, which it's pretty significant if you ask me. So,
which essentially it really wasn't, to be honest, because they shook the hands and it was like, okay, peace out. The main story was, okay, we're going to have Wes turn. And that's how the show ended. And that's what I feel like you put Wes's heel turn over all, which is crazy.
The fans love Wes, right? Yeah. Except me. I can't stand him. And now all of a sudden they turned him into a heel. Watch in, a couple of weeks, I'm going to love the guy. And so when everyone turns heel, it's a lot easier. You get a lot of attention, emotion into it. But I mean, his whole.
Do you think they did that? Sorry, Gonzo, but real quick, I just have to ask. Do you think they did that as like a little? Here's a little bit from us from WWE to TNA to just put TNA talent in the main event a little bit, maybe.
Could be.
That's like the only thing I could think of why that was a main event. Sorry, I just was thinking about it.
I guess. I mean,
either way,
I really don't. I mean, maybe, but Joe Hendry, say his name, he appears. Joe Hendry's just there's He's just outshining them. So I mean, if you're gonna put anybody from TNA, it's gonna be him. Like,
You
know
would
what
put
I
him
mean?
in the main event though with no title on the line? That'd be wild.
If no titles were on the line, then yes, 100%. But no, not over the championships. No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we don't book. We don't get the placement here. I mean, like I said, I'm just a firm believer that your best title should always be the main event, especially when it's the heavyweight championship. I mean, we saw heel turns throughout SummerSlam. None of those were the main event. So I mean, it is what it is. So all right, do you guys have anything else before we move on from NXT?
Joe Hendry.
Oh shit! Hold on, sorry.
We believe, dude. We freaking believe.
There we go. All right, so now we are going back to the SummerSlam Fallout. Let's talk a little Monday Night Judgment Day, guys. The faction still lives. Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, and I guess we throw in Carlito in there. So they still live. Everyone was saying on social media that Judgment Day is over. Us three stood still, and we knew that was not over. Interesting tidbit that we got, interesting information that we got from Finn. He actually gave his reason right away. Says that Priest changed when he became champion. He betrayed the Judgment Day by basically asserting himself as a leader when Rhea Ripley was gone. When the Judgment Day started, when Edge started the Judgment Day, it was supposed to be those that were forgotten, were put aside. No one was equal because they always put people above. When they came together, they were all equal.
Right. No egos.
No egos, exactly. Yeah, so that's what they did. Damian turned himself into a leader. So I thought that was great. Finn and Damian's feud going forward, I can't wait to see that, just because that's what we've been wanting to see. Finn has been that main event talent guy. He's the first ever what is it called? Universal champion. He started a Bullet Club. The guy's a superstar, and I think this will be his first major push forward since, ultimately losing that Universal Championship. What are you guys' thoughts on Finn so far? Sorry, dude, so many different names for this championship. Yeah. My apologies, guys. But yeah, so what do you guys think of Finn's aspect before we move on to the rest of Judgment Day? Gonzo.
I've always loved Finn Balor, and so we haven't really seen him do anything, I guess you could say, of worth mentioning in quite some time, because he's again been placating with the Judgment Day for as long as he has. But here he is. He's doing something. He's making a name. Damian Priest is going to go along for the ride, and he's going to elevate Priest even more. The crowd is behind Priest, which is great. I mean, that crowd all night, anytime that Judgment Day with Mommy and Damian had anything to do with anything, the crowd was eating it up nonstop. So the whole reason it all became about you. You got that title, and then all ego started to come out. You started treating us differently, and we don't stand for that. So absolutely, this is what I did to you. This isn't a shocker. It makes sense with the storytelling because it's been there, and it has been for quite some time. It's been teased that, it's been allowed, it's been okayed because they had gold, right? So you can kind of look the other way when you're all winning, but at some point, it all came crashing down. So I'm definitely behind the motives of a Finn Balor on this one.
Yeah, I thought the motives were great. I loved it. Angel, do you have anything else you want to add on Finn Damian rivalry so far?
Oh man, it's been a long time coming. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but yeah, I'm ready to see Finn in demon mode, man. I want to see it. I don't care who he has to go through. I don't care how he does it, dude. They make. Well, we're just talking about them too. We'll talk about that.
Go ahead. We're about to go into the rest of them right now, anyway. So go ahead. I already said my piece. So go ahead.
Okay. No, yeah, I was gonna say JD McDonough actually pulled a promo that was impressive. I was like, whoa.
First of all, don't shit on my boy JD McDonough, man. The Irish Ace in NXT. I don't know about the Irish Ace. He may be freaking angel stature, but this guy can go. Go on.
Dude, he that was a cool promo. The match he had was pretty entertaining too. I mean, he was smacking up Damian, who's twice his freaking size.
That chop he gave Damian.
Yeah,
That was like a
he was taking
Gunther's type
shots
sound.
back, and he wasn't
Yeah,
stepping
dude.
down.
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
I was like, damn, that was pretty good. They had a good match, for just a little, rivalry, betrayal match. But that was cool. I don't know. And then
So
yeah,
they did have a match. Sorry to cut you off. So they did have a
No,
match.
you're good.
Moving on from that, Finn interfered in that match. Like he said earlier in his promo, he was going to pick his spots when you think you're safe and you're focused on other things. I'm going to be there. I'm going to make your life a living hell. So Damian did get the win by DQ, but Judgment Day ultimately jumped Damian. And wouldn't you know it, Rhea freaking Ripley comes out to save the day, jumps Liv, but then Dom saves the love of his life, Liv Morgan, and we get no explanation from Dom tonight. So we have to assume that that's going to be coming on Monday. What do you guys think the outlook now is for them? Is it just going to be the remaining summer of Damian and Rhea's revenge tour?
I mean, they could just argue about chicky tenders the entire time, and it's going to be white hot. This whole thing has been built for so long that the crowd is eating up anything at this moment in time. So
It was built for so long, and I thought everything coming full circle when even Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley were beating the shit out of Dom when he was still aligned with his father. Rhea Ripley, taking Liv out for nearly a year. All that comes around, and obviously I think we kind of know what Dom's gonna say. Rhea never treated him correctly. They beat the shit out of him when he first came. So who knows how long that they've really been plotting. We saw those backstage, them getting caught, Finn getting caught talking to Liv, and Dom getting caught. We had the hotel room key, all this nonsense all coming to full fold. And it's just like one of the greatest stories in faction history. Angel, what were you going to say?
No, nothing. I mean, you pretty much talked about what I was going to say as far as like the long-term story of this betrayal. I guess the only thing was all these people had motives, right? I guess Liv was the one that pushed them off the edge, is all I want to say. Like, they all had it in them already. They all had their reasons. Finn, Dom, JD, and even, I guess, Carlito you could throw in there. But once Liv showed up and showed them what she could do for them, it was over. They're like, we're all in, because these two don't help us at all. They're just worried about their title or their time. They're not helping us at all. So she came, she got titles right away, chicken tendies and PS5, and now we're here.
madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it needs is just a little push. If I could just quote the late great Heath Ledger in his role in The Dark Knight, talking about chaos. And that is what Liv Morgan has been, his chaos, anarchy. So here we go. This is literally The Dark Knight unfolding in front of us in the year 2024, and I love all aspects of it.
Don't you think a little bit that if you look at this story, full picture, macro, Damien and Rhea are technically the heels in this situation? If you really look at it from the beginning of all their situations to today,
All
like,
egos.
if you think about it, what happened to Liv? What happened to Dom? JD getting treated like shit the whole time, and even told tonight or Monday night that he wasn't. Damien never wanted him in there in the first place. Like, think about all these things. I don't know. I'm just saying. I know they screwed him over pretty bad, but they've been screwed over pretty bad themselves.
For sure. Great take. Anything to add?
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. All right, cool. So as we await Dom's explanation as to why he screwed mommy over, presumably we'll get that answer on Monday Night Raw. We're going to take a little break from the SummerSlam fallout, and we're going to play Guess the Wrestler. So these jokers could redeem themselves from not guessing the Undertaker
My
from
streak.
last week.
My streak is in jeopardy here.
All right.
Don't
So
show my face.
it's okay. Me and Angel didn't guess Rikishi, so I mean, I guess we could just go there.
I have all the bad weeks. All right.
But I mean, The Undertaker's pretty bad. I gave you guys arguably the most recognizable figure in WWE history. But here we go. We're gonna play a little game of Guess the Wrestler. If you guys is the first time seeing us play on this show, there's 3 people in comparison to what you may have seen on social media when it's just 2 people. So these are just gonna get a minute and a half to both ask me questions, and the first one to guess the wrestler wins, and I will face the loser next week. If they draw for a second week in a row, they will face each other again for a third week in a row. So, you guys ready to play Guess the Wrestler?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let me get my timer going on. And for those of you guys listening, watching, feel free to make your guesses in the comments. And feel free to reach out to any one of us on social media if you guys want to use your Guess the Wrestler. So we will definitely use it if you guys let us know. But until then, let me know when you guys are ready. Give me the okay, and we'll get it started.
I'll go first.
Ready? All right. So in 3, 2, 1, go.
Is it Stone Cold Steve Austin?
No.
Okay, are they active?
Yes.
Are they Hall of Famer?
No.
Are they a male or female?
It's a male. It's a yes or no question though. But yes, male.
Do they have long hair?
Male?
Yes.
Long, yes to long hair. Got it.
They're still active. Do they use a submission as a finisher?
Yes.
God, is it their? Oh God. Are they part of a faction?
Currently?
Yes, because you said they're active.
Yes, technically.
Is it Chad Gable?
No.
Damn it!
Are they
I had that.
bigger than 6'5"?
No.
Did they ever hold a WWE title?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it Brock Lesnar?
No.
Was it?
20 seconds left.
My
Did
streak
they have the tag
continues.
titles?
Yes, they have held the tag titles. 10 seconds.
Gonzo?
Are you guys kidding?
Is it God? Is it The Rock?
No, keep going. I'm giving you guys 30 more seconds because this is
it The
embarrassing.
Miz?
No.
R-Truth?
No. Ask questions, guys. Come on, man.
This is tough.
10 seconds, and I've given you 30 extra.
Have they been on another brand?
Yes.
Gonzo.
CM Punk?
No.
Randy Orton?
No.
Kevin Owens?
No. Final guesses, guys. You guys are terrible. You guys just don't ask the right question. Each of you get a final question and guess because this is embarrassing.
Gonzo, you're up next, bud.
So they're male. As far as that, let's see here. Are they older than 40 years old?
Yes.
Oh. Faction.
Gonzo, you can make your final guess.
I have my answer.
Oh.
What is it?
If you have the answer, somebody, because this is embarrassing.
Is it AJ Styles?
It's not.
Ah!
He uses the calf crusher.
Are they on Raw currently?
No. This is just embarrassing.
Man.
My streak continues.
We're gonna have to go back to Pushberry Fire at this point.
SmackDown.
You're assuming SmackDown.
Oh, they're on NXT?
You're assuming NXT.
Pete Dunne?
Negative. It is Chris fucking Jericho. Jesus Christ.
He's not even in the company.
It doesn't have to be.
You know what? I thought Chris Jericho when you said long hair, but I was just thinking like
Uses a finisher, long hair. He's won the world champion. He's won a tag team title. Ugh, you guys.
I thought we weren't doing it.
We use historical WWE talent, and he's an historical WWE talent. And every week, you guys guess Chris Jericho, and the 1 week I give you him, you don't guess him. Don't make excuses. These guys, once again, guys, we are sorry.
You know how many times I thought of the Walls of Jericho this entire time, and I did not say it. I should.
Why didn't you say it? Why didn't you say it? Like,
I don't know. I just didn't think we could. I don't know why.
Like, oh
I
my!
thought about him after like the third or when Gonzo said long hair. I was like, oh, maybe it's Chris Jericho. And I'm like, oh, he's not gonna do AEW. We're a WWE show. Yeah.
Okay. He's the first ever undisputed champion. Like, you guys don't answer right questions. You know what? Like, I don't know who to give you anymore. Like, we're gonna have to reassess this next week. All right, guess the rest of Chris Jericho. You guys guess it every week. He just made the list, and I gave the guy that you guys always say every week, and you don't guess him. It's just crazy to me. But all right, moving on. Let's go back to more SummerSlam Fallout. Oh my God, Derek said it too. You just made the list. All right, moving on to some more SummerSlam Fallout. We have Gunther, the new World Heavyweight Champion, on Monday Night Raw. So, gentlemen, I have one question for you before we move on about Gunther. Do we have a long title reign incoming? So he was the NXT. He was the longest reigning NXT UK champion at 800 plus days, losing to Dragunov. He was the longest ever Intercontinental Champion, losing to David's favorite wrestler, Sami Zayn. And now he won the King of the Ring and is now a world champion on WWE Monday Night Raw. So, could we assume, since we are at SummerSlam, which is basically a halfway point to WrestleMania, presumably Cody might lose his title in the near future? Are we looking at another long title reign?
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to be looking at the same thing that happened with AJ Styles, LA Knight. AJ Styles, LA Knight, and oh my God, who's the third one? Kevin Owens? Who's the third one?
Chris Jericho.
Who was the third one that was in
what
that?
What were we saying?
Fighting for Cody's title. It was LA Knight, AJ Styles, and they had a triple threat. Oh, Randy Orton. So you're going to have the same situation with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. It's going to be the same exact script you just saw with the SmackDown belt since WrestleMania, but now on Raw.
So it's very interesting that you brought that up, Angel, because this is my follow-up question. I don't think we have that situation right now. I think we have a lack of challengers for Gunther on Monday Night Raw, which is why Randy Orton was brought in right now, obviously to right the wrong of the King of the Ring tournament.
He's just bridging the gap until those three start actually having matches against him.
So how long are we going to wait? Because if we're going this, Damian Priest should be in line for a rematch, but they don't really do rematches in WWE program anymore, and he's tied up with the Judgment Day. You have CM Punk still feuding with
a rematch for no reason.
Exactly, but they barely do, is what I'm telling you. So CM Punk still feuding with Drew McIntyre, and now is pretty much on deck to feud with Seth Rollins. But Seth Rollins is now entering a feud with Bronson Reed, which was just that assault.
Oh my God.
On Monday Night Raw.
Fucking nuts. What the hell was what did he do? 7 fucking
I have it. It was 6 tsunamis he gave him, and he was coughing up blood. Obviously, I'm sure they put a capsule in him.
Oh yeah, that was fake blood, but that was still cool.
God damn, dude. So everyone's saying, what are we doing with Bronson Reed? Bronson Reed's like, I'm making my own path. And he goes to arguably the best guy in the business right now to put you over and attack Seth freaking Rollins. Nuts. Like, if you weren't the fans, even though, and we all know Seth Rollins is a babyface right now, okay? Obviously, Bronson Reed's the heel. The fans were chanting for Bronson Reed because of how many tsunamis this guy did. Now, that is how you put someone over in a matter of seconds. This guy dominated. But
dude, that whole Raw show from beginning to end was
great.
Incredible.
Was great. But going on, so you have now Seth entering a program with Bronson Reed, and after that program, he's got dibs on CM Punk. CM Punk is still in a program with Drew, and after that, he will presumably go to Who?
Bring around the Rosie.
Seth
between all of
Rollins.
us still.
You know what I'm saying?
Bring on
So
the
it's
Rosie.
like obviously Randy Orton's kind of like a bridge here. It's a superstar from SmackDown. They have to right their wrongs of the King of the Ring tournament. They're going in Berlin. Randy's going to take the loss. It's Gunther's hometown. But after that, I feel like Raw, they have a timeline of 30 days to get somebody main event caliber because all these guys are in a feud, at least in my opinion, until Bad Blood, which is October. So who is out of these guys, which I'm not arguing with you, Angel. I'm sure Damien's going to get his rematch, or hopefully he gets his rematch. And these guys that we all mentioned are going to get their shot at some point in time. Watch, rinse, repeat for, title picture years. But somebody until then that is not named Randy Orton has to step up and challenge Gunther. And who is that going to be? Because of all those guys that we mentioned that are absolute superstars that could take this championship or at least get a title shot, who is Gunther going to face? You would say Sami Zayn or Jey Uso, presumably, right? But we already found out Sami's going for the IC title next week. Will most likely lose. And after that, now they're committed to the tag team division.
Yep. And yes, but it's the Judgment Day. They're going to team up with Mommy and all that.
Mm-hmm. Is it the Judgment Day, though?
No. They're going against the Judgment Day.
No, I'm saying, will it be the Judgment Day, though? Or will it be the Bloodline? Talk about that later. But yeah, so like Gunther to me is short on challengers. Yeah. Gunther is short on challengers to me at the current point in time in his title reign, which obviously it's 4 days in. No one's saying it's a failed reign. It's going to be a shitty reign because you have all these superstars, but yet the main superstars of Monday Night Raw are tied up. So who right now challenges Gunther post Randy Orton? Who is over enough to be in a program with Gunther? Anybody?
I mean, there's plenty of guys on Raw, but
Logan Paul.
It's just a matter of who gets put on top of Raw at that point. I mean, you have the big three below him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you throw Bronson in there. Apparently, you still got stupid Sheamus. You got Dunn.
Sheamus is one. You said it. Sheamus will be one, guarantee it, because of the battles they've had for the Intercontinental Championship. Go on.
Right, Sheamus can be fodder for him for a month. He just beat someone's ass for no reason.
I truly thought he was going to be in Berlin, to be honest. Randy Orton kind of shocked me. I mean, I understand why Randy Orton's going for it, but I really thought it was going to be Sheamus and Gunther in Berlin.
Randy just wanted his own singles story. I think he was kind of tired of playing Avengers Assemble with Cody every month. So he wanted something on his own, and he couldn't really get it with LA Knight just winning the title and such. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. There's talent on Raw to do it. It's just a matter of how they're going to do it.
Well, that's the challenge, right? So, in my opinion, you got about 30 days. That's 4 Raws to 4 Raws. Yeah, it's about a month to get someone over enough to get some type of heat to go against Gunther. So, in my opinion, Sheamus is eventually going to get a title shot, and I think Dragunov, they're going to do a callback for the NXT UK Championship was an absolute banger of a match. And after that, you have the top talent tied up. Yeah. So it's like, but are those guys ready? Is Dragunov ready to be in the main title picture? I don't know. Is Sheamus? No, but we all know he's just going to be fed to Gunther. But after that, who challenges him? These stories need to be all tied up. It's just, it's going to be interesting to see.
Just ring around the Rosie with McIntyre and Seth and Punk until WrestleMania, whoever actually is the story there. Punk is probably gonna face someone else at WrestleMania. I don't know.
Gonzo, any thoughts?
Bodies that you can throw Gunther's way. Vinci, you're going to see him resurrect and really threaten. As
Kaiser Betrayal is another one. Sorry.
Kaiser Betrayal.
Vinci resurrection story. Big Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins. I mean, there's bodies here. It's not like this whole roster is completely depleted like this is 2006.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm saying their main people, their main roster guys are in big heated storylines. Bronson Reed and Seth are entering a feud that just got started on Monday. CM Punk is still tied up with McIntyre, and then will be tied up with Seth Rollins eventually.
Sami Zayn can challenge for this title now. Master
Yeah.
Gable can potentially do it once he moves a little bit further away. I mean,
It's
you
not
got a
very
lot of
fresh.
you got a lot of people. I don't know who. We'll get through Randy first because again, the NFL draft doesn't matter, or excuse me, the WWE draft doesn't matter. So, anyway,
Yeah, I guess we'll have to table that conversation for another day, but we'll see how that goes. Excited. Congratulations to Gunther. Moving on, Wyatt Six had their debut, which I thought absolutely delivered. Answered a lot of questions for us as far as how they're going to translate those characters into in-ring characters, and I thought it was just fantastic. Gable gives up the name Alpha Academy, and they are now called American Made. Everything kind of came full circle that night. Gonzo, you want to take us through on what the meaning of that night was for the
woo!
Wyatts?
Oh, absolutely. For those of you who are unaware or didn't watch the show, they were in Baltimore, Maryland, correct? As far as Monday night goes. And 10 years ago, that is where the original three for the Wyatt family had debuted. There were callbacks after callbacks after callbacks. They came out to Bray Wyatt's music. They also brought back the rocking chair to sit Uncle Howdy and Sister Abigail as they were watching the lantern. Those are all specifics and mannerisms, again, that Bray had done. Eric Rowan doing his Luke Harper impression as he jumps over the rope to then hit Master Gable that was laying there. Shout out to everyone in the chat, including Pro Wrestling Kingpin. Keep up the good work on the channel. Appreciate it. And shout out to South Bronx, Contreras, aka South Entertainment Guy. Okay, I appreciate that. And as far as the Wyatts go, the look of Gacy and the look of Loomis, phenomenal. I forgot how athletic actually Gacy was. The somersault springboard off the ropes, come flying back and then hitting people. That actually got me to pop really, really loud. Rowan looked like a monster. You had the other two that were actually athletically gifted, and then Rowan comes in there as a bruiser. So this was something we all questioned. How is this going to look in ring? Even before they even got to the ring, they took off the masks to identify whom was going to go into the ring to actually face American Made. This was it was wonderful on all fronts.
I thought the more like I look at the faction, the more I'm like everyone that's in there is just perfect. Dexter Loomis, if you guys remember, was just that creepy stalker character, but had no direction, but had tremendous in-ring ability, and you guys finally saw what he can do in ring. He just needed something to join and something to be a part of, and that's just great. Joe Gacy led a sinister faction in NXT and now is joining another sinister faction, so he plays that role perfect. Eric Rowan, don't really need to go into it there. You know, he was part of the Wyatt family. He's just made for this. Okay. Howdy himself, the brother, carrying on the legacy. All these characters, perfect to be with this faction, and all I'm missing is just Alexa Bliss. I forgot what are they calling the female character's name? What's
The
her?
witch. Nikki Cross is the witch.
Yeah, Nikki Cross is the witch. Okay, yeah.
She's Sister
So
Abigail, I thought.
no,
No,
it's
she's not. She's the
it's
witch.
not called Abigail. It's not.
She's
They're
the
all
witch.
yeah. So, but all the cast, I feel like, is just a perfect cast. They translated perfectly. They answered many questions on how in ring's gonna be, and I just loved every second of it. Angel, any thoughts? I'm sure we took a lot of the words out of your mouth right now.
Yeah, pretty much. It was. You guys said everything that needed to be said. I think Dave is right. Is Abby the witch? Is that
Yes.
what her name is on there? So I guess it's both. She's Abby, but she's the witch. So
I have no idea.
okay. All right. Either way, the entrance phenomenal. I mean, the music was so badass. The way they come out, just in sync. I didn't even notice Rowan was carrying the chair behind them while they walked down the aisle. That was so cool. He just sat down. You couldn't even tell. Like they moved in sync like a real team. When he sat down and he snapped his fingers or whatever he did, they ran in like freaking wolves, on attack mode. That was cool. Dex Loomis is wow. His ability in the ring is really impressive. He can sell. He can stunt. I mean, he could do everything in that ring. Got to give some props to the American Made team. They pulled it off pretty well, I thought too. That their side of the match, they had to make sure that they sell fighting these characters. You know, what I mean, that's not always an easy thing to be the opponents of characters, or as Mark called them, like a sinister unit that they got to go against. It can be a little bit different than a normal, tag match. Rowan looked amazing. He did like that high kick spin kick thing. That was incredible. He's 6'8" to do something like that.
That's
Wow.
that's
He's impressive.
so that
Luke
was
Harper.
that's a Luke Harper, aka Brody Lee callback. He also did the
Right.
kiss before the finish.
He did.
You know,
He did. Yeah.
he did a lot of
Yeah.
callbacks to Brody Lee /
To the
Luke
OG.
Harper,
Yeah.
whatever you guys want to call
To
him.
the OG family. The
Yeah.
OG family. And yeah, and Dave's boy Gacy, wow, he looked great too.
He
So
lost
everyone
weight.
in that match just, yeah, he was, dude, he was bouncing, he was springy. Like, I mean, they look like they were pouncing at the bit just to freaking get in that ring and actually wrestle. Like they seemed
So-
like they were ready. They couldn't wait to be in there, and they all put on a show.
I think it's kind of messed up that they made him the pig character. Kind of messed up. But anyway, he also got a profile early before the match. So they keep introducing or reintroducing these characters, which once again hasn't been perfect. I mean, like with the VHS tapes, everything leading up to this, going to Raw. I mean, I just want to see what goes on moving forward. We got a comment about the match. It says, honestly, the match is really quite not bad, I assume is what he said. Between the debut of the Wyatt Six, but between Chad Gable, they need a perfect storyline until he gets a match against Uncle Howdy, I assume is what he was trying to say. So ultimately, that's going to be the blow off, whether it be in Berlin or Bad Blood. We are going to get that one-on-one. But the ride that we're about to get taken on until we eventually get that one-on-one is just going to be amazing. I can't wait. I'm so glued to the Wyatts right now. It's just unreal.
I thought the match was good. I like the way everything, the performance wise, it just felt fun, and the ending was fun. The smoke, the beginning, I just thought it was all perfect. I don't know. I'm not really seeing what else you could ask for a tag
Agreed.
team that's pure
Agreed.
story, getting to be debuted and to actually perform, right, and to mix in their cinema into performance with their opponents. I don't know what else you would want them to do. There's not much more they could do at that point. The only other thing they could have done was beat the hell out of Chad a little bit more and drag him to Uncle Howdy and made him bleed again. Like, I don't know. There's not much more they could do. They did everything you could ask for.
Agreed. Gonzo, any other thoughts before we move on to the main event?
I mean, I think we should just call the show right now because that was the main event, if you ask me. So we don't need to talk about the tribal chief and all that other nonsense. Wyatt Six is going to finally outshine this 10-year story of the bloodline. So this is refreshing. This is something new, and it's been long overdue for quite some time because these are characters that don't need to be put in a title match. There's storytelling, there's history, there's lore, there's entertainment, there's everything here. And this is the shot in the arm that Raw, SmackDown has desperately needed for quite some time. Once you get Master Gable and all these guys out of the way, they're going to continue to tell even more stories as they target additional people. And I'm eager to see what that's going to turn into, right? And so this is something that Raw and SmackDown both have titles. You're going to have the same trio of guys like Angel already alluded to. I can say finally that this is probably the one thing that is finally different, and it's not the same cookie cutter thing of rinse and repeat, aside from obviously the young guys that are doing their thing, like the Carmelo Hayes and the Ilya Dragunov, right? So those are the fresh parts, but here you actually have an entire faction that can create so much disturbance now and tell different stories. I'm all for it.
Good take. Took you a minute to get there because we all know it's not the main event, but great take.
It's the main event in my eyes.
I like it. It's different. It's fresh, and that was part of my argument when it came to Gunther's potential, opponents, and same argument when it comes to Cody's opponents thus far in his title reign. Wash, rinse, repeat. So, but yeah, I thought that was great. Good job, Gonzo. All right, so moving on, what everyone wants to talk about, it's levels above every storyline.
Boo! Where's the new shirt?
It's not gonna come until Angel's birthday.
Dude,
But
they lied
yeah,
to you.
it says September 6th.
They
But
lied. They said literally
okay,
2 to
can
3
I
business
talk with
days.
them? It said September 6th for everyone that ordered it. Goddamn, forget about the shirt. I got a Bloodline shirt on, regardless. All right. But yeah, so return. That's the shirt that he wants me to get. It's coming. That and a hoodie. Original Tribal Chief. There it is. He has returned. I just want to point out Paul. Oh, here you go, Joe. I just want to point out that Paul Heyman did what Vince McMahon wanted to do for the past 8-9 years so quickly with Roman Reigns, is that Roman Reigns is finally the top baby face in the WWE by a landslide. And that is, I don't care what anybody says, that is to Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman created the tribal chief. Paul Heyman was the one, let me take over Roman Reigns. And this is what we're finally getting, all coming to this point where Vince McMahon wanted Roman Reigns to be quote unquote John Cena. And you saw the reaction that the fans gave him, the constant chants, we want Roman. For him only being gone 5 months, he is finally the biggest babyface in the company. And that is because of Paul freaking Heyman. Just saying. Before we go on with Roman Reigns, SmackDown, we saw Bloodline crowned as the new tag team champions. We really didn't get to talk about it because of the SummerSlam being overshadowed, but they are new tag team champions. The big storyline there now is how bad is Jake Fatu's injury? What does that mean for the tag team titles? But we saw Bloodline don't give up titles, so they'll probably just sit on them for a long time. So, when it comes to anybody with the Bloodline, no matter who's hurt, doesn't matter. They're not getting the Rhea Ripley treatment. They will hang on to those titles. But the Bloodline Civil War is now 100% ignited. So the match, we talked about it earlier, was great. I'm going to be the first one to say, even though this was Solo's best in-ring outing on the main roster, in my opinion, he now looks incredibly weak. The heat is lost when it comes to Solo and the new Bloodline. Okay? I might be in the minority in saying this, but the heat is lost. Roman Reigns coming back completely overshadows everything. It overshadows Cody retaining. It overshadows Solo's ascension as the tribal chief, because we're getting into this war. So before I turn the reins over to you guys, see what I did there, Reigns. What I want to see on SmackDown is Roman Reigns get the shit beat out of him by the new Bloodline. Because if you don't, Solo continues on a downward trajectory. And if you want to ignite this Bloodline civil war or feud or whatever you're going to call it, Solo needs to look strong. So before we start getting Roman's teammates or people that are going to be aligned with him, we need to see him at his worst. I need to see blood. I need to see him basically left for dead to end SmackDown. Other than that, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Angel, what do you think about this whole Bloodline situation?
So, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I'm the one defending Solo here, but also, how would you have done it differently?
No, it's not differently. It has nothing to do with doing differently. I think what SummerSlam was perfect. What I'm saying is if you want to sell this head of the table battle, I don't know what we're gonna call it, is you need to make Solo look strong right now. All right, beautiful Game of Thrones. You need to make Solo look strong. There's nothing I would have done different on SummerSlam. SummerSlam was perfect. I like the little nod between Cody and Roman. Roman showing. If you guys notice, he had that little 3 at the bottom when he was walking out, meaning some type of third match between them. So he's tabling that for now, though, because he's focusing on Solo. But the thing is, Solo now losing to Cody, and Roman Reigns coming back saying, "Hey, you ain't shit," in order to keep Solo's character progression, he needs to look unbelievably strong on Friday because Roman already looks immortal, godlike, or shall I say levels above. Okay. Solo needs to be in a positive form on Friday, and they need to use his new bloodline or the bootleg bloodline or whatever you want to call it at Roman's expense.
I mean, I think you could just assume that's going to happen, though. Roman right now has no backup.
Mm-hmm.
He came in as a surprise. He came in as the fourth. It was 4v3, and he came as the surprise fourth. And it wasn't even to help Cody.
Correct.
It was more as this is my chair. This is my throne. I'm taking it back tonight, and I'm screwing you over because you told everybody that I wasn't coming back, so on and so forth. We know the history. He is not an Avenger. He's just happened to be someone coming for his, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But that's all that was. And we all know that they're going to have their match whenever that might be, probably WrestleMania. So that being said, I think Roman has got a long road ahead of him if he is coming more often. I don't know what his appearance levels will be. I know
He
he's gonna
will be there on
Friday,
SmackDown, so
I know
that's
he's
what
gonna be there on
matters.
Friday,
Mhm.
so that's cool that he's coming. 2 straight performances in a row. That's pretty cool to see that. I hope he gets to come pretty often because, to me, we are in the modern Rock and Stone Cold era of Cody and Roman. 2 talents that outshine everyone else. No matter how good the roster is, they're just bigger and better than everybody else. And the roster could be full of Hall of Famers, just like the Attitude Era. But these 2 are just different. They demand everyone's attention, and everything they do, especially together, is just explosive. So, like you said, Roman being this babyface, there's nobody that does babyface better than Cody Rhodes. So, them together, it's crazy. We haven't seen something like this, in my opinion, since the Attitude Era.
So can I interject for a second? I love that you just said that, and that goes again with my whole point because you have Cody Rhodes. No one does babyface better than Cody Rhodes. Great statement. And now you got arguably the most over babyface right now in the company, and Roman Reigns now with his return.
I agree.
So who is going to be the top heel on SmackDown now? It has to be Solo.
Heel?
It has to be Solo. It has to be him.
Yeah, sure, that's fine, and and he's in position to take that spot. I don't mind that
for sure.
That's fine. Yeah,
for sure.
He's got to perform, but that's his spot to take for sure. Yeah,
he has to.
Yeah,
you cannot squander his character development because Roman came back. You have to grow from it, right? And I'm a firm believer that you don't have to win your feuds, your matches to be over, but you do need to look good leading up to it. And they have to set a major statement on SmackDown to Roman that he doesn't give a shit if Roman's back, that he's still the head of the table, that Roman is done. All those little comments he's been saying, Roman was weak. He couldn't get it done anymore. He has to continue that. Despite his loss to Cody, he has to continue that. Gonzo, do you have any input?
You guys are, again, laying the foundation. I guess I view the number 1 rated heel on SmackDown as still the Temu bloodline. So as a unit, they are in my eyes, they are the number 1 heel because, again, together they've been able to do a lot of wonderful things, right? You have the new additions. They're got tag team gold. Fatu, before he smashed his ankle / his shin up, he was an indestructible force that was just plowing through people left and right. So Solo was starting to ascend. Together, they do wonderful things. I don't think outside of the Werewolf, the rest of them can stand on their own. So as a collective unit, I just identify them as being the number 1 heel on SmackDown. So that's just how I look at it.
All right. So like I said, so when it comes to the Bloodline Wars, everyone, it's no secret I've been saying for 3 freaking years that Roman Reigns and Cody at WrestleMania is going to happen. It's going to be, a trilogy. I'm still standing strong on that. But now the reason Roman comes back on SummerSlam is because presumably we're gonna have a bloodline civil war for War Games. I think everyone's been calling that. It's not us. So when it comes to who aligns with Roman, eventually we have to stop this. Okay, we're gonna sign every cousin in the Indies, right? Especially for a match that's going to be a bloodline civil war, right? So in my opinion, what makes that more special is you're gonna have an old bloodline versus a new bloodline, meaning the Usos have to get back together, meaning quite possibly Sammy Us might enter the fold. I don't know if that's what's going to be, but I think the majority of these members have to be OG bloodline before you start bringing in, Hikuleo or anybody else. I mean, we saw another cousin get signed today. Rikishi's other son. I'm blanking on the other name, but to me, it won't be as special if we do get that bloodline civil war. If Roman has an entirely new team, and then we have Solo's new, criminal bloodline, as what they all like to call it. So, with that being said, a brand trade allegedly happened quietly, which is why we saw A-Town Down Under on Monday Night Raw. It is alleged. It's not official. It's just all over. But supposedly the trade was A-Town Down Under for Sammy and Jay eventually.
What did Michael Cole say when he came back from break about them being there? What were his words? Because he said something was going to happen, and then he barely mentioned it again. Why they were there.
That is something you caught that I didn't.
Okay.
So
no, he said I'll explain why they're here next. And then when they came back from break, he barely even said anything, and I was just like,
so that could be the reason.
So what you're saying has validity to it because they barely even could explain why A-Town Down Under was even there.
Exactly. You could explain why Randy was there because Randy came out and said, "Hey, 100%. You didn't beat me. Triple H knew it. The world knows it." And he had valid reasons as to why to challenge. While I hate the brand jumping, it made sense. A-Town Down Under being there does not make sense. It doesn't. So the only thing I could think of is what everyone is saying in the internet wrestling community. Now, once again, WWE has not made anything official. There's no post, no nothing. But presumably the trade was A-Town Down Under for Sammy and Jay. And if that happens, we have to have story for them to quote unquote rejoin the bloodline, right? Roman Reigns, even Paul Heyman have a lot to do in time leading up to a potential civil war at Survivor Series to get these guys to even go back on the side, right? Because they excommunicated, main event Jay, right? Jimmy was kicked out by Solo, You saw what happened with Uso. He turned on Roman Reigns. So it's like you have all these factors, and the only way a big civil war would be that much better is if you had the OG members there.
I mean, it's possible. I guess they can make a trade and allow Sammy and Jay to
trade special. Raw got fleeced. Jesus.
Okay.
So for our listeners on Spotify, Derek the Guy says if that's the trade, LMAO, that's a Kingpin trade special. Raw got fleeced. Angel knows all about the trades. But go on.
That is a trade special from the Kingpin, but we know Raw and SmackDown do trades based on what talent needs to be on what show. It's not about even trades. It's not like a real team versus with a real team. But like I was saying, it's possible that the trade could have happened, right? And they're just allowing Jay and Sammy to finish out their little storyline.
Correct.
He has to finish out what he did with the Judgment Day and help out Rhea for a little bit. It's just weird that they not pushed, but they just gave him a spot. A-Town Down Under so quickly that there was a trade. Why are they trying to make us forget that this happened? Like doing it today, we won't remember. And then when Jay and Sammy jump over, it's gonna be like a surprise. I'm not understanding the timing of it, but whatever.
Neither do I. But the whole thing is Roman Reigns coming with an entirely new bloodline. It just doesn't make sense for the story. You need the OG bloodline. You need the Usos back together. So to me, it kind of makes sense. You have Sammy drop the title to Braun, which thank God. And then Jey Uso hasn't done anything since losing his opportunities, right? He's been in this, oh, I want to date mommy type deal, kind of like in limbo on what he's going to do, you know? So him going, Zilla Fatu, thank you, Derek. Yes, Zilla Fatu is the other one that was signed. That was the other bloodline member. Not bloodline member, I'm sorry. Possibly soon to be a bloodline member, excuse me. But going on, but you have these guys not doing anything. Sammy finishing up his storyline with Braun Breaker. He'll get one more rematch next week. And then the tag titles, right? So, but which tag titles? Bloodline's tag titles? Are we talking Judgment Day's tag titles? Who knows? But at the end of the day, Roman needs to bring those guys back together with the wise man to make the story just go on levels above everything else.
Yeah. But Sammy and Jay are staying on Raw for a while. They already talked about fighting.
Agreed. You can't just have them all.
Jesus.
Judgment Day. You can't just have them show up. You can't. So
no. Yeah, it's gonna be some
November is usually when Survivor Series is. So basically, this whole Bloodline Civil War is going to come to fruition then. But until then, Roman has to go through trials and tribulations and trying to figure out what's going on. And he needs to get his ass beat by Solo. He needs to be able to come and who's going to join forces with him, right? If he's going to be able to reunite them.
So Roman's going to get his ass kicked for a little bit is probably what's going to happen.
He needs to get his ass kicked. He needs to get some type of empathy from his cousins, the Usos. He needs to find a way to get Sami Zayn to get back on his side. All these guys, he has major repairing before we even talk about a Civil War. And then possibly, because it's usually 5-on-5, adding another
I could even
member.
see him teaming up with Cody for like a match, just like a tag match. You know what I mean? And it's a team up of like, enemy of my enemy is my friend tag match. He's not gonna be cool with Cody. They just have to do it because they're fighting the same enemy. You know what I mean? They're never gonna be like homies. That's never gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They will have to team up once in a while, just like the Rock and Stone Cold had to do. It happens sometimes, right? So,
agreed.
Similar.
Gonzo, do you have any other thoughts on this before we wrap it up?
No, pretty accurate. You know, as far as Roman having some issues or complications, and it's probably a blessing that Jacob Fatu has gotten hurt because he was able to run through Solo like he did. Fine, no big deal. So you're also still preserving the werewolf potentially as being this very relentless, unforgiving force that has decimated people in front of him at this point. So technically speaking, he still has that aura around him to where you could potentially have a face-off where it's Roman Reigns and the werewolf, right? And so the lore and everything else that could potentially come with that, probably the strongest figure in the Temu bloodline is the werewolf. As far as the other three, they all play their roles, they all play their parts. Solo is probably well balanced, but the werewolf. Someone said that earlier today.
This is gonna get us sued.
Sorry, I just caught that. Like you said, Timo again. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I did. I think it was Derek, the guy that had referred to them as that, or someone did. Anyway,
he did.
So to be able to make it believable, you have the werewolf, and it can be done now because his presence already has been displayed where he's just a wrecking ball. So therefore, if it's a numbers game, to me, it's very believable that Roman can get quickly overtaken potentially. But if the werewolf is not there, in my eyes, Roman should be able to fend off all those individuals. So at least from a storytelling component to it, I just wanted to add that into the mix of things.
So you're saying that Roman would just take care of 3 out of the 4 bloodline members, no problem. That's what you're saying right now?
Well, Tua Tagovailoa apparently can't do anything. Can't hit people in turnbuckles, can't hit low blow spots, knocks himself unconscious, pokes his own eye out. So, I mean, I can't really take him seriously at this point. So, as far as the other two, yeah, I mean, they're feasible bodies. But unfortunately, the other one...
Owens poked his eye out. I don't think he poked his own eye.
I mean, at this point, I don't know. So, everything seems to be self-inflicted with that poor guy. And I like his look, but unfortunately, it's like every time he has a key moment, something terrible goes wrong, apparently. So I'll give it to him most recently that he missed the turnbuckle because he's got that patch on his eye. So aside from that, Roman, yes, I will argue that he is very much capable potentially of running through a numbers gang if absolutely cornered. Why wouldn't he?
Interesting. All right, get to the comments before we wrap this up. It could probably be Jay and Jimmy with Joan Forces, but I'm not sure if it would be Sammy. It could be difficult. Besides, they need Samoan family against them. However, he says, additional comment is that if a 5-on-5 were to happen, Cody Rhodes could join that 5-on-5. Thoughts?
Yeah, I already said that. I said Cody will just enemy of my enemy is my friend. Like, yeah, we talked about that. That's my
Okay. All right, then. Well, I think we'd all can agree we want this story to progress, and Solo is going to have to get the upper hand on Friday for that story to progress. But until then, we will just have to wait and see what happens Friday night. So before we wrap up the show, guys, on Roman Reigns' epic return, Gonzo, final thoughts for this evening.
Long live the Wyatt Six.
Okay, then. Angel, final thoughts for this evening, or shall we say, speed division.
You want a speed update, or you want to just
give me your final thoughts, buddy. Give me your final thoughts.
Final thoughts. SummerSlam was cool. Solo has improved. I thought this past Raw, there's been a lot of good Raws this year, so there's a lot of potential like Raws of the year. I don't know which ones would be considered at this point, but there's been a lot of good shows this year, especially after PLEs. So I want to say that. And Joel Hendry's the GOAT. Okay, now we can move on to speed. Just to let you know, we're still in the number one contenders match. I don't know if you guys remember any of it.
I do.
I'll just remind you of who fought on Friday. We had Dunn versus Julius Creed. Our boy Dunn, the 3-show superstar, got a dub. He's moving on.
Well, I should hope so because he beat Trick Williams. So if he loses to fucking Julius Creed,
and the next part of the bracket, that was Friday, and today we had Javon versus Ashante, the Adonis. And Javon actually hit his signature stunner off the corner. Is that a special then?
The turnbuckle. Yeah.
Stunner? Okay. Or the RKO off the. Okay, he hit that. And he got the dub. So he's also moving on in the brackets. And yeah, that's it. That's your updates for speed. It was good matches, fun. You can only watch that on X, by the way. We found out that they cannot show the belt on SmackDown or Raw because they are legally binded by X. They have a contract with WWE and X that the matches themselves, you will see no highlights, and the belts itself, they cannot bring out the belt on any of the real shows. So that's why you'll only see advertisements and mentions of these matches, but you will never actually see any part of it because it is exclusive to X. So I will
there you go.
Saying this should be shown on the shows. They can't do it. So you'll never hear me say that again.
There you go. So will you stop shitting on the speed division now?
I'm not shitting on it. I'm just, I wish they could promote it a little bit more. But it is what it is.
All right. So final thoughts for myself. SummerSlam was great. Wyatt 6 is the most entertaining story that is not the Bloodline or the Judgment Day. Can't wait to see what else goes with them. We saw a women's tag team title match on Friday where the Unholy Union defended against Jade and Bianca, where what's her name? Oh, I'm blanking out. We had a new faction formed.
The Unholy Union?
Yeah, with the Unholy Union. I'm trying to think of her name. I'm blanking out.
Blair Davenport.
Blair Davenport. There we go. So Blair Davenport interfered, and the Unholy Union retained the title due to interference of Blair Davenport. So we see a faction going on there. So the women's have factions forming on all the shows, which is pretty solid because we see Sonya Deville's faction on Raw fighting with Damage Control, another faction. So women getting a lot of love all throughout the shows, which is just pretty good. And I'm going to leave it with the women's tag team division has just been on fire throughout all brands, and I want more of it. So with that being said, that is going to close out our show. So Gonzo, why don't you tell everybody what you got going on and where we can find you?
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, as far as Yugi Man here, unfortunately, my Obelisk the Tormentor's over there. My name's blocking it, so maybe next time I'll position him in such a way where we can get a better look. But you can definitely find me on Instagram, Twitch. Actually, now I'm starting to stream more of Master Duel, and I've slowly come out of retirement and started playing more Yu-Gi-Oh. So for any of those individuals that are out there that play Master Duel, it'll be something that, again, I broadcasted over, is it Discord or Twitch? Twitch. Discord, we ended up creating our own little group chat earlier today. So it's the raising_personalities where you can, again, get me on Instagram. You can
challenge him, guys. Challenge him.
As far as Twitch. As far as YouTube, that's going to be the name. X, I have, it's David_MA_LCPC there. It's the only platform that I have that specific name. And again, the letters at the end of my name, for those of you who are unfamiliar with what all that means, I am a master's level licensed therapist in the state of Illinois. So I've been helping people who struggle with behavioral health and addiction the last 9 years. So as far as individual, family, couples counseling, education, and stuff like that, I've been doing a variety of different things here, going on 10 years in the field.
Awesome. Thank you. So raising_personalities, challenge him, talk to him if you need to talk. Great guy to talk to, but mainly challenge him so he can break Pikachu Game Boys. Angel, why don't you tell everyone where we can find you and what you got going on?
You can find me on Twitch and Kick Live to stream, streaming console gaming, PS5 gaming, sports games, College Football 25. I think Derek the Guy starting up our Dynasty League potentially, hopefully soon. Maybe see me playing some other streamers on that, and playing FC. I think 2K is coming out soon. See about that. I've been playing Duel Masters. What the hell is it called?
Master Duel
with these two a lot this past week, nonstop. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have a co-stream with Raising Personalities when we do our 3v3 matches and stuff like that, or when we want to do troll decking into each other. But catch us on there. It's going to be at _OK Gaming on all platforms. But live stream is going to be on Twitch and Kick.
There you go. All right. And for me, you guys know where to find me. All social media with the same name, pro_wrestling_Kingpin, giving all your wrestling content, your wrestling cards, even baseball cards, have been as well with these guys on the Master Duels. So make sure you guys check us out on there. I'll be doing a special stream on Saturday when it comes to some pack openings. We got some AEW, we got some TNA, and we got some WWE. So be on the lookout for that. But once again, if you guys don't watch the stream, you could listen to us on Spotify on Thursdays. And these guys have the unfortunate task of facing each other on Guest the Wrestler again next week. So you know what? We're going to switch it up. Please message me, DM me, give me a guy where these guys could actually figure it out. But until then, tune in next week for episode 26 of the Smacktalk Technically Wrestling Podcast, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks for the engagement. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Acknowledge your tribal chief.
That's not your chief. That's mine, not yours.